挣脱的黑夜手一盏孤灯。
Someone shared that in 1951, Ma Lianliang, a then expert of Peking opera, had been living in Hong Kong for more than 3 years. He received an invitation to move to Taiwan, but ultimately declined and moved back to Beijing instead. He was welcomed by Zhou Enlai, then Chinese premier. Before leaving Hong Kong, he asked Yuan Shushan, a well-known astrologer, to practice fortune-telling to see his future. He was told that he had 15 years of good luck left. 15 years later, in 1966, he was persecuted by the CCP for being involved in a theater play called Hai Rui, Dismissed from Office, which was known for its involvement in Chinese politics during the Cultural Revolution era. The Red Guards ransacked his home. Soon after, he accidentally fell and later died in Xiyuan of Beijing. Someone shared this picture showing a Biden supporter. If fortune-telling is superstitious, there are actually thousands of witches in the world who are serious about it. Someone shared an article published by the U.S. Sun with the title, "Thousands of Witches Plotting to Cast Binding Spell on Donald Trump on Halloween so he loses to Biden on Election Day." This article has also been translated and reported on by Chinese media. The article highlighted that the witches, who call themselves magical women, allegedly tried to cast spells on Trump this time last year when he was in the midst of the impeachment inquiry. It also noted that taking their efforts online, the witches have been using the hashtags Bind Trump and Magic Resistance to join their forces to create a blue wave spell on October 31st and on November 2nd. One of the identified witches in the Facebook group Bind Trump Official, which has over 6,100 members, also called for magic to be used against Trump during the final debate. However, it didn't seem like any supernatural occurrences took place while he was on the debate podium. Someone shared that Justice Kavanaugh was also cursed by a group of witches back when he assumed the position of the Supreme Court Justice. Someone shared this video to show perhaps one of the most extreme supporters of the BLM movement.
If you don't support Black Lives Matter, I'll break your kneecaps.
A netizen shared this video that's been circulating online recently in the conservative circle.
Hey, Aves, why are you crying?
Because my dad called me a Democrat.
Someone said perhaps the Democratic Party has now become a derogatory term in light of what U.S. social and mainstream media have recently done to suppress negative coverage regarding Biden and his son. A Chinese dissident currently living in the U.S. commented, "I feel very sad upon seeing this happening, even more so than when I was persecuted in China. Because at that time, I knew that there was still light and hope in the world. For example, I had faith in the American political system. I wrote an essay titled Roaming Philadelphia of the U.S. from 210 years ago to thank the founding fathers of America for leaving a beacon of hope for the world. But today, I can only pray that this beacon of hope will remain. I believe that Americans are returning to the path of tradition and the belief in common sense, and they are fighting to protect the nation." Someone said, "I looked through major U.S. mainstream media's coverage regarding the upcoming elections. They have all been silent on Biden and his son's corruption scandal, while fiercely criticizing Trump." Someone posted a tweet that Trump shared on October 26th. Twitter labeled it as potentially misleading voting in elections. Someone felt that what Trump said in this tweet is common sense. At the same time, CCP officials spread rumors and slandered Trump and Trump supporters on Twitter, but Twitter turned a blind eye to them. Twitter is actually attempting to influence U.S. politics. Someone shared this video in which Biden's wife was delivering a speech. He felt that it's no coincidence that this happened and that it may be seen as another October surprise.
Public health insurance option that is helping everyone get care that they can afford.
Someone recalled, recently Biden said that he was running for president against George, and even repeated it. Later, his campaign sign fell off when his wife was speaking. Well, on Trump's side, Justice Barrett was confirmed. Perhaps God's will is present in the midst of these all. Someone recalled, in fact, a very similar scene happened during pro-Beijing Taiwanese politician Han Kuo-yi's campaign against President Tsai. At that time, a man appeared on the podium and waved the Kuomintang flag in support of Han, but the flagpole broke. At another time, when Han was giving a speech, a promotion board behind him collapsed. Someone shared a video of Justice Amy Coney Barrett's swearing-in ceremony that recently took place at the White House.
I, Amy Coney Barrett, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Someone said, putting hand on the Bible to take an oath before assuming the position is actually symbolic of American culture. Over the past few years, an important reason for the fall of the U.S. is that many legislators, officials, and justices under the influence of communism and atheism pay no sense of reverence toward God, but rather want to become God themselves. Someone shared that a Wall Street Journal op-ed published on October 20th sarcastically titled, "Lightning will have to strike twice for Trump to win." A few days after this article was published, the Trump Tower in Chicago was struck by 3 simultaneous bolts of lightning before Trump's debate with Biden. Therefore, some outsiders have linked these 2 incidents. A netizen said, maybe Thor is a Trump fan. Someone shared this video to show that Trump's hat also had supernatural power. Someone reposted a speech that Mr. Chen Guangcheng, a well-known Chinese dissident and human rights lawyer, was invited to give at the Republican National Convention.
Greetings. My name is Chen Guangcheng. Standing up to tyranny is not easy, I know. When I spoke out against China's one-child policy and other injustices, I was prosecuted, beaten, sent to prison, and put under house arrest by the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP.
Someone shared a question and argued, why should Chinese Americans support Trump? He said, because Trump is the biggest external force that can change China. The CCP has ruled China for 71 years. The nation is no longer the prosperous divine land anymore, but rather societal conditions have become increasingly deteriorated. Waiting for an internal reform to arrive has been proven to be wishful thinking. Trump's actions are having a direct impact on the Chinese communist system and may be a force that can truly help bring about Beijing's reform. Someone also shared that, according to the prophecies of the Tui Bei Tu, which is a Chinese prophecy book from the Tang Dynasty, 2020 is the last year of the CCP regime. The U.S. may play a vital role in making this happen.
Child, we will take you in. Child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring. Soon a dove flying high